Canton Coin listings on multiple different exchanges globally. And that's phenomenal. And not just because, not from a speculation perspective, but actually because it introduces Canton Coin to a whole range of other people who wouldn't necessarily have known about it or been able to access it before. And it also provides an off-ramp for folks who are kind of on the network already. So we've seen a lot of interest in Canton Coin since the listings. People are kind of asking, what is this network all about? It's been described as the biggest blockchain network you've never heard of because it's been in stealth mode for so long, and in the last year it's absolutely flourished.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. Today, we're going to get into some 2026 groundbreaking fundamental developments involving Canton Network. Now, starting off this post, as you guys heard that gentleman say that Canton is probably the #1 blockchain that you have not heard of because it has been in stealth mode, and that is for an absolute fact. Going over all these recent fundamental developments that have all just dropped pretty much in the last 24 hours as of time of recording, has Slim Kim posted this episode 4 part 1 of Quadrillions is Live, brought to you by Canton Network, where CFTC Chair Pham and Yuval Ruse joined Jason Yanowitz to discuss the CFTC's regulatory approach, cooperation with the SEC, the CFTC crypto sprint, and more. Now, one of my most favorite timestamps from this is where Chairman Pham goes on to say that America is back and that they want individuals to come and build in America because there is regulatory clarity. Take a second here and listen.
So I went to Money 2020 in Middle East, and I went to Korea Blockchain Week, and then I went to Paris as well. And I said, look, America is back. We want you to come and invest, hire, and build in America. We have regulatory clarity. Yes, you can conduct these activities here in a regulated manner. And that's actually had such a huge impact. I've had a lot of different crypto companies come up to me and say, you know what, we were thinking about expanding in Singapore. We were thinking about trying to hire more in Paris. But you know what, now we're going to come to New York because the talent is in New York. We see that the regulators in the US are prepared to move very quickly. Actually, I think people are having actually a hard time processing just how fast the SEC and the CFTC are moving and how much it's a complete 180 from what was going on before. Because
that, to me, coming directly from the CFTC chair, sitting on a panel with Yuval Ruse and Jason from Blockworks from literally today, January 7, 2026, is a huge green light for the institutional wave that is set to unfold in the digital asset ecosystem as we progress in 2026. And the fundamentals are hitting the ground running. So starting off here in this post, I said, Canton Coin is bigger than most are prepared to acknowledge. Take a second here and just listen to what Yuval says about the Linux Foundation, how they are the first accepted blockchain by the Linux Foundation, even though they've mentioned some others before. Take a second here and listen.
Sure that everybody understands that at Digital Asset, we take these type of things very seriously. So the other thing that was an amazing surprise is that we approached Linux and we told Linux that we would want them to be the governing body of Canton. And they told us that they haven't agreed to talk to any blockchain project. They have Hyperledger that sits under Linux, but the parent organization never agreed. They said everything can go to Hyperledger, but we are not touching these things. And about almost 2 months ago now, they gave us a green light to form a new project under Linux. And we're hoping within the next few weeks to kind of officially kick off the foundation, and Linux will be the governing body for Canton.
Wow.
That is a massive verbal confirmation of the superiority that the Canton Network houses, that the Linux Foundation agreed and gave the green light to become the governing body of the Canton Network. Wow. I mean, huge confirmation from Yuval. Now, that's not where it ends. For those of you all who don't know some of Canton Network's partners, take a second and listen to this panel discussion that took place just a couple of days ago featuring Talos, where they go on to talk about the mass amount of institutions that are already partnered with Canton, those in which names you already most likely know, but just the amount of institutions that are already partnered on the Canton Network. Take a second here and listen.
Which I think is a really important part of the innovation of what Canton have done, and try and give an analogy that allows us to explore that, and then move to a Q&A. So kicking off the 101, why is Canton important? Well, Canton is the only public blockchain with institutional grade privacy. And why that's important is that it allows financial services workflows to come on chain in a way that hasn't been possible before. And it has been focused on financial institutions. And despite only being live for a short period of time on mainnet, the adoption patterns are significant and extraordinary. And it's built for compliance and privacy and this idea of legal finality. In terms of who's using it, well, in addition to some of these household financial institutions, there are 400 other institutions who aren't listed who are using it. And there are also companies like BP and Microsoft in other sectors who are leveraging this privacy first and institutional grade control to build and make it a network for more than simply finance.
Now, considering he said that there are 400 other financial institutions outside of the ones that you see on the screen, just taking a look at some of the names on screen, this is huge. You have Bank of America, Bank of China, Euroclear, HSBC, JP Morgan, Citi, and the list goes on. So again, considering some of the recent content that we've made in Canton, I'm well diversified in this digital asset. It is not financial advice. But again, go out there, do your own personal research, and start to broaden your horizon. As I mentioned, the fundamentals are starting to hit the ground running involving Canton. Today, Canton Loop posted this. Canton Network powers the UK's first sterling tokenized deposit gilt trade as Lloyds and Archax execute a landmark public blockchain transaction on regulated, I repeat, regulated Canton infrastructure. So diving into this fundamental piece here, it goes on to read, and this is directly from Archax. It says, January 7, 2026, Lloyds has completed the first transaction of digital assets using tokenized deposits, a landmark for digital finance. For the first time in the UK, tokenized deposits have been issued on a public blockchain. This is also a global debut for sterling deposits. This achievement illustrates how tokenization can revolutionize traditional banking, turning real-world assets into digital forms that can be purchased, sold, or transferred instantly. Unlike private ledgers, the Canton Network, a public blockchain, opens up an opportunity for mass adoption across the industry due to greater accessibility while preserving confidentiality. The transaction involved Lloyds Bank PLC issuing tokenized deposits on the Canton Network, a blockchain designed for regulated financial markets. Lloyds Bank Corporate Markets, part of Lloyds Banking Group, utilized these deposits to purchase a tokenized gilt from Archax. Archax then moved the underlying funds back into its regular Lloyds account, showing how easily transactions can flow between blockchain and traditional banking systems. With the UK government exploring the possibility of issuing its own digital securities, this transaction demonstrates how tokenization can bring traditional instruments such as gilts into the digital ecosystem. Now, there has been so many blockchains and collaboration and partnership with Archax, and it's just so great to start to see Canton wiggling their way into the mix here. Now, this is not the only announcement that just came into fruition as of today. Yet another one, January 7, 2026. Today, digital asset and Connexus by JP Morgan, the firm's industry-leading blockchain business unit, today announced their intent to collaborate on the native issuance of Connexus by JP Morgan's deposit token product, JPM Coin, on the Canton Network, a privacy-enabled blockchain network designed for synchronized financial markets. In bringing JPM Coin natively to Canton, digital asset and Connexus by JP Morgan are laying the foundation for regulated, there's that word again, interoperable digital money that can move seamlessly across financial markets. With native availability of JPM Coin, institutions using Canton will be able to issue, transfer, and redeem JPMD near instantly within a secure and synchronized ecosystem. This collaboration brings to life the vision of regulated digital cash that can move at the speed of markets, said Yuval Ruz, co-founder and CEO of Digital Asset. By bringing JPM Coin natively to Canton, we're establishing the foundation for modernizing the existing financial rails to facilitate the more efficient flow of capital. bridging traditional finance and digital infrastructure in a way that preserves privacy, compliance, and trust. And Naveen Malala, hopefully I'm pronouncing her name correctly, global head of Connexus by JP Morgan, said this collaboration moves the industry forward and transacting on public blockchains. JPM Coin delivers the security of bank-issued deposits and settlement combined with the speed and innovation of 24/7 near real-time blockchain transactions. In bringing JPM Coin onto Canton, we can further increase efficiency and unlock liquidity. So huge major announcements as of recent in regards to the Canton Network. Now, the last video clip that I'll play from this panel discussion over here is where this gentleman goes on to talk about how Canton is better than Ethereum.
So making sure that use and appeal are kind of balanced out is the job of this burn and mint machine, and the causing network health, bringing about network health essentially. So that, in essence, is a very whistle-stop tour of how Canton does tokenomics. And just to kind of bring it back to the picture of other layer ones, if you operate on the Ethereum blockchain, virtually all of the rewards go to the folks who provide the validators. So if you write an application, and Eric's used the example of Aave before, if you write some of the most successful applications on Ethereum or on Solana that exist, the only way you can get rewarded up front or through the process is typically through grants, which are hard to come by, that a bunch of guys sit in a room and decide whether an idea is good or not. Whereas Canton makes it much more democratic, because they're effectively saying, yes, people who provide the plumbing and the lights and everything else need to be rewarded, but actually a lot of the utility comes from the apps. So we want to disproportionately award app builders rewards, basically, which is where if you run a node and you run a whole bunch of apps and make those available, then you can earn decent rewards on the Canton network. So again, apologies for the very simplistic analogy for Canton tokenomics, but hopefully it kind of helps explain the differences between Canton and other things. There are a whole raft of great resources. I'm not going to.
Now, I love that, because we know Emmett from Canton Network went on to talk about his New Year resolution as becoming an unrelenting voice in the crypto ecosystem until Canton Coin makes it into the top 5. And we've heard in previous panel discussions, Yuval Ruse go on to talk about how he believes that Canton Network is going to be the #1 smart contract blockchain in the world.
I do think that it will be the #1 smart contract chain in the world very soon. I'll start with the end. I mean, our vision is that every financial transaction of any meaning will run on Canton, and I think we really have a chance of doing that, because we've been patient, we've been thoughtful, and we've taken our time to think about what would that require. So that's we want to become.
So great stuff, wrapping up the fundamental aspect of today's video breakdown. And now, as always, many blessings to you guys. Remember, none of this is financial advice. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video breakdown. If you're new to the CYPRX platform, remember that we are well diversified, and we do not micromanage or fit into any community forums like the XRP or XLM or HBAR or Quan or anything community. We're well diversified, and we cover a vast range of different digital assets. Our focus in recent video breakdowns are on Canton, but we will continue to stay diversified and cover a vast range of fundamentals on multiple different projects as we progress through 2026. Many blessings to you guys. Be cognizant, be aware. Please go out there and do your own personal research. If you need a safe and secure place to go and do research, you guys can always head over to CYPRXtrading.com. Inside the private CYPRX Discord, you guys have some of the most comprehensive and in-depth research analytics on the face of the retail space. We have multiple researchers placed all over the world, always finding great, valuable information 24/7, 365, information that never reaches the mainstream masses. If you guys want to tap into that and lock in with us in 2026, you can head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to see you and have you on the team. With that in mind, be cognizant, be aware out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video breakdown.